that they can find a way around the rules to win.
You know, it's sort of like the ACLU. You know, they'll go and take on a small community because they may have a cross or "In God We Trust" on some kind of seal or whatever, but they pick on somebody that they know. You know, they don't have these giant coffers to pay for the lawsuit. See, so and you pick it on the little guy, so to speak. Now, if you think that we're blowing smoke about, how the Democrats are tied into this, you mentioned that the Democratic National Committee has actually established call centers to organize for demonstrators. Now, doesn't that sort of sound like they're connected to it somehow there? If it walks like a duck, looks like a duck?
Mm-hmm. That's a good analogy. You're exactly right. And I've tried to tell people, and I've tried to tell politicians in Indiana, I said, you have to understand that the Democrats use the same tactics as the unions. And that's where they learned them from.
Mm-hmm.
And even this administration, when you look at, and I'm very concerned for the future of this country because of my kids and grandkids, you look at what they're doing, and they keep throwing out new bills. They try new change regulations, whether it's the EPA or the National Labor Relations Board or that. What they try to do is overwhelm the system. They try to get so much exposure, and they try to put so many things out there that you can't keep up with it all. And this thing with the Democratic National Committee, like you said, that's a typical example. You go out and recruit as many people as you can to hold signs in that, whether they know what they're doing or not. When they picketed against us in Indianapolis, at one time they had a rally downtown. They had about 400 people picketing one of our buildings. And we actually went up to one of the picketers and asked him, said, "What are you picketing about?" And the guy says, "I don't know." And I said, "Why are you here?" "Well, because the SEIU came down to the Wheeler Mission this morning and paid us cash to come down here and hold this sign." And these are the things that are going on that most Americans don't understand.
And in your article you say over the past 40 to 50 years, big labor has directly contributed to the demise of the steel, auto, and other industries due to its inability to comprehend global competition and its use of gun-to-the-head tactics to force private industry to give in. Dave, all teachers aren't bad, okay? And, they're getting a bad rap. And the reason they're getting a bad rap is the same reason, basically is because they don't know what's going on. The average teacher, pays the dues and doesn't realize that money's going in to support Democratic candidates who are supporting the union's politics. And it's just sort of like, I don't want to lose my job. And I saw a thing that you had on your blog release a couple of days ago, I think it was, and a thing from YouTube where this teacher was explaining, what was it? I'm trying to think of the exact title there. Teacher explains school unions. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I mean, it's a little cartoon of a teacher and a guy just asking questions that the average person would ask. And I'm telling you, it makes more sense. I sent it out on my, my email list. Said, hey, you guys got to see this one. In fact, I'm going to see the exact. Maybe I already got rid of it. Probably did. Yeah. I don't like to save things if I can help it. But anyway, common sense, But I don't know what it is. If teachers get into a lazy mode, or perhaps they love this thing called tenure.
Well, they do, and I'll tell you a couple of interesting stories, and sometimes I think stories tell things the best. But I happened to be driving into work about 2 weeks ago, and listening to a local station in Indianapolis, and this is when the teacher unions and other unions were down at the State House and picketing and that. And one guy called in on this radio show, and his wife was a teacher. And he was telling the talk show host, he says, I probably won't have a place to sleep tonight, but I have to tell you about this. Mm-hmm. My wife got this information from the teachers union in Indiana. And he says, I read through it, and you can tell reading through it that it's just full of misinformation. But my wife bought into it and says, yeah, this is true stuff. And he says today she left to go downtown Indianapolis and picket because of this information. And the unions know there's a certain amount of people out there that will buy into this stuff and are, I guess, easily indoctrinated is the best way I can say it. And really believe the unions are telling them the truth about the bills and things that are going on. And here you have a guy who, his wife is buying into it, and he knows it's wrong.
Yeah.
You've got these things going on all the time.
You know what was amazing, I guess about a year ago, there was something that was happening, and it might have been a health care issue or whatever, Obamacare. And, they put out their talking points. The Democratic Party will say, all right, so you're going to go on Fox and you're going to go on radio and you're going to go on blah, 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 right? Here are the talking points. And Dave, you could switch channels and you would hear them use this little catchword, like that was the catchword. But it was so stupid, it was like, you pull the string and all 5 of the dolls are saying the same thing, It wasn't coming from the heart, so to speak. And that's exactly, like your teacher thing you're talking about. Whenever they send out, here's what you are to say to this question, and here's what you're to say to this question. And when it becomes repetitious, it's sort of like mind games maybe, or control of the mind, so to speak. No, we're not going that far, but goodness.
Well, no, but you're very close, Chuck. I mean, that's really what it's like. And I'll tell you where the union, when we fought the SIU, where it caught them, is, we took them to an appeals hearing for strike or reinstatement. They tried to get our people in Indianapolis to go on strike, and they got 10 people out of 300 or 400 people to go on strike.
Can we talk about that in just a moment? Just remember, we're going to talk about that trying to get a strike with David Bego when we return. He's the author of The Devil at My Doorstep, and we're discussing America at the Crossroads. Hey, as Wisconsin goes, so goes America. So if you're in America listening to this show, there you go. But if you're in Washington, D.C., that's another question. We'll be Everybody's talking at me. Chuck Wilder here, David A. Bego, my guest, and thanks to my caller, my associate producer, Pat, out there in Arizona, gave me the exact title for that YouTube. It's called Teachers Union Explained, from a liberal teacher. Boy, it's educational. Now then, David, and I found it right there on your blog, and the best place to get that is thedevilatmydoorstep.com, correct?
Well, yeah, the blog is actually devilatmydoorstep.wordpress.com, but they can get it from the website, too.
There you go. Now then, tell us about this. They're trying to get a strike going, right, in Indiana?
Well, yeah, the kind of their last gasp effort to try and get me to sign a neutrality agreement and deprive my people of a secret ballot election was to have a strike, and they got 10 of our employees to go out on strike out of 300 to 400 employees, so a small percentage, obviously. And these people, unfortunately, were out for 8 or 9 months, and we won a couple of other decisions against the SEIU during that time. And these people came back and wanted their jobs back, and we denied it because we said that they were involved in strikes that were found and picketing that was found illegal by the National Labor Relations Board. So anyway, quickly they appealed that, and it went to a hearing. And during the hearing, it was a 2-week hearing. It was very, very interesting. It's kind of to your point a minute ago that they're like talking heads. They just keep saying the same thing over again. The people that were the witnesses for the union kept saying the same things over and over again. They're indoctrinated. And what was very fascinating about this, at the end, the administrative law judge, who had never, to our knowledge, ever found in favor of a business before, came back and awarded us the decision overwhelmingly. And his comment is that the testimony by all the people was unbelievable, and you could tell that it was very structured and taught.
Rehearsed, really.
And, you know, this is exactly what's going on out in the public right now. And I wish the media would pick it up and let the American people know the truth about what's going on.
Yeah. Do you think that perhaps the union might have opened up a can of worms that they wish they hadn't down the road? What do you think the score is right now? Because I'm seeing that, you know, that it's a big victory for Republicans, because they're saying we want to keep government spending down. That's what we promised, and that's what they're sticking to. What do you think? What's the score?
Well, I think so. The problem we have is that, and I keep warning people about this, and I was a little worried in the last November election, is that the unions are going to have their foot soldiers out in force. They are in real trouble financially, and they have to get this administration and Democrats back in office to pass laws or keep changing regulations that will protect them. And they're going to do everything they can to make that happen. And it's a big money pump, Chuck. You know, they get union dues from these people who really don't have control of where their dues are spent, and they take that money and they put it in politics.
And like I said a while ago, I believe 80% of the teachers don't really know what their money is being used for. They're just happy that their job's secure and they got their 6-week vacation or whatever, and 135 days sick, and boy, I'm telling you. Hey, Dave, we're all out of time. I certainly appreciate the visit and look forward to our next get-together.
Well, thanks, Chuck. You have a great day and a great weekend.
And stay away from that Craigslist, all right. David A. Bego. The name of the book is The Devil at My Doorstep. Get a copy. Read the battle. Inside, in the trenches.